you tell me about the appetizer?
Like what would be weird to get?
No, like if you don't order an appetizer or if you don't eat the bread, like if you're not ordering an appetizer or eating a basket of bread, like I don't want to date you because you're no fun.
There was actually one of my...
Because you're no fun.
You're no fun.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of 30, Flirty, and Surviving. I am your host, Tracy. Please, if you love me, rate, subscribe, like, comment, follow on the everythings. Apple, iHeart, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram is 30, Flirty, Surviving Podcast. It would mean the world to me. It's actually not Surviving Podcast. It's just 30, Flirty, Surviving. I changed that recently. I got that handle. Handle, switched it up, baby. So don't get it twisted. 30 Flirty Surviving. I'll learn it eventually. I wanted to quickly, before we dive into today's show, just thank everybody because for me, coming back solo was a little bit scary and I was a little nervous about it, but everyone has been so sweet and supportive and warm and welcoming, and I really appreciate everything that everyone has said so far. So thank you. But please get yourself a drink because I have two very special guests with me here today. We are keeping it in the family again today, and I have two other Big Night podcasters with me. Drinks After Work, Abby and Shannen. Hello, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. I feel like I'm very excited about this because Abby, you and I, we text, we talk, we've had a lot of time together. Shannen, we have not. I feel like we've had very few and far in between. So I'm like excited to hang out with you and then also get to know Shannen even more.
I love that. I know. I feel like we've seen each other at like the big night events.
Yes, exactly. Like in passing. I feel like the podcast party we had not too long ago, it was like too many people, so even when I saw you it was still only 5 minutes, so now we get some real like quality time together.
I also feel like we both talk a million miles a minute, so I feel like we'll see each other for 5 minutes and we'll be like, so how's your life, how's your boyfriend, how's everything going? We're like, okay, great, that was so great catching up, and it was like a year worth of information.
Yes. So nothing's actually absorbed because it was just like we're still processing. But please, if you guys don't know them already, you can follow them on Instagram at Drinks After Work _ I was gonna say after work, that's not a thing. And then what are your personal, I don't know how to say your last name, Shannen.
Ketenji.
I don't even know how to say it.
It's weird. It's Turkish. No one knows. Just Shannen Ketenji, Ketenchi,
okay.
Whatever you need to say is
Shannen Ketenchi.
None of my best friends know how to say my name.
I was like my last name is long, Shermahorn, and people butcher it all the time. So I saw that. I was like, I'm not even going to try. I know what it's like. I'm not even going to bother.
But you'll like shorten yours sometimes.
Yeah, on Instagram, I just say Tracy Sherm.
I need to start doing that. Like
no,
Shannen
because
Ket.
people are like, Sherm, that's your last name, right? Like they think that's my actual whole ass name.
Well, I've been begging Shannen to change her handle on Instagram because I don't like when I tag her and I on our drinks account, because my name on Instagram is so short and hers is so long, and aesthetically it bothers me.
It doesn't add up. It doesn't match.
And I'm like, Shannen.
Yours is just A Cerisi.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's so
you pronounced
easy.
it right.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, I was going to ask you another question, but I can't remember right now, so I'll get to that.
Our personal Instas?
No, you just told me that.
Oh, I did.
Did you not?
Yeah, I did. Shannen, did you share yours?
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Also, I want you to know that I thought your real ass name was Sophia for so long. I remember, like, probably a year ago when you guys first started the podcast with Big Night. I think I was talking to like Kyle or something, and I was like, Abby and Sophia, and he was like, what? I truly thought that was your name for so long. But isn't that like where does that come from?
So basically, it's the weirdest story, and I probably should just change it back because it's been years at this point, even though it doesn't feel like it has been. But when I graduated college, I went on a trip with my sisters to Seattle. Okay. I don't know. I just was like obsessed with Grey's Anatomy in college. And I was like, I feel like I would like belong there. Weird. Anyways, booked a trip out to Seattle and to LA. And we have like friends and family in LA, but not in Seattle. And it was like the first trip. It was just like me and my sister kind of solo, not with a big group, not like a spring break trip. And all of a sudden on the flight, we got this like weird feeling where we were like, wait, what if there's like psychos in Seattle and they can find us and track us down, and like we don't know anyone here, like we have no protection. So we were like, we have to come up with fake names. Like we have to have like fake identities. Like no one can know it's us. We can't tell anyone like where we're staying, like anything like that. So we decided, Bianca was like, I think you like we're meant to be a Sophia. Like you're Sophia. I was like, okay, I'm Sophia. And then we never thought of one for her. So like, because we were just kind of like, wait, we had to love her name. So we kind of kept hers. Her name is Bianca. So I just remained Sophia for that trip. And we just had like the best trip of our lives. And like we were at the bar and everyone was like, Sophia, Sophia. And I was like just vibing. And I feel like it was such a fun trip. And I was like, wait, I kind of just love this. And it became like my drunk alter ego.
I love it.
And every time I would like go out like to a bar or like to a club and a guy would be like, what's your name? I'd be like, Sophia. And it just became a thing.
I love that. So if you were to get kidnapped or murdered, your sister would be screwed because she had her real name. So only you were protected.
I don't know why she just like didn't, or maybe we thought of one but she didn't like it or something. Yeah. Like I don't remember, but it like wasn't a thing.
Speaking of alter egos, that makes me think of Sasha Fierce, which makes me think of Sasha. So before we talk about the show and dive into that, because I want to ask you guys questions about drinks after work, but I wanted to give you a background of how I first met these girls. And I kind of forgot about this until I talked about it last week with those girls but we met as contestants on the Burnt Toast dating show.
What was your name again?
I was Candy
with a K.
Candy with a K.
Candy
Yes.
with a K.
Yes. We were talking about how wild Destiny was last week.
Yeah, she was something else.
And that was all Evan Sierra's fault. But that was how you and I first met, and I feel like her wildness made us bond that much more because we were so terrified of her. We were like, what do we do?
Yeah,
what is happening?
You were on the left to me, and every time she did, I would just look over at you and be like,
yes.
Are we gonna try to top that, or what's the vibe here? Like, is she gonna be the main character? And
she was the main character.
I'm trying to get that scrubbed from the internet. I know.
I have PTSD.
It was fun though. It was fun, and we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for that day.
Truly, I think it brought all of us girls closer, and then also was like it showed our personalities, and now we all got podcasts. So
I know
I'm mad about
it's
it.
A fair trade.
That's true. You guys kind of like made a deal with the devil.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So my question to you is, did you have a first impression of me that night?
Oh, first impression. No, it's just like, damn, that bitch, she freaking won.
Didn't she win?
Yeah.
You did say that. Like she came back and she was like, I didn't fucking win. And I was like, who won?
I'm very competitive. So I was like, no, but I thought you were wicked sweet. And obviously your voice, I thought I would hate you. I didn't think that I would like you.
Oh, why?
Because you're so nice.
Did you think I was like fake, you mean?
No.
Oh no, Abby just likes, she hates nice people. Like
people.
she's more what we call like mean spirited.
I was just like, because I'm just not an overly nice person. So when I'm met with someone that's super nice like yourself, I'm like, oh, they're gonna hate me.
Oh,
that's so funny because I did not get that impression. Like I thought you were so sweet, and we like exchanged numbers.
No, I liked you 100%, but I just didn't think that you'd like me.
Oh yeah, no, love you, love you.
Did you think I was nice when you met me?
No.
Okay.
I was afraid of you.
Oh, wow.
You have a presence.
Oh, okay. People say that, and I'm like, I don't understand it, but I think it's like, I don't think I'm aware.
You walk in and people look immediately like drawn to you, but it's a good thing.
People are
it's
like,
a good thing.
Yeah, people are like, I met you and I like instantly thought you were a huge bitch. I'm like, what the fuck did I ever do to you?
Literally nothing. You just showed up.
It's your aura.
The aura.
Okay, so the show. So we are almost 50 episodes down, you guys.
Yeah.
Just about 50 episodes.
It was 50 last week.
Yeah.
Oh, and a year of doing it officially? I know you were doing it prior to Big Night as well, but a year with Big Night or a year in total?
A year with Big Night was in November. So.
Yeah. Before that, we'd put things on YouTube. But a year ago, we started actually podcasting.
And now you're 20,000 downloads down. I mean, that's huge. Yeah. Big deal. So congratulations to you girls for that.
Thank you.
If my listeners at home have not heard of the show before and this is their first time hearing about you guys, how would you describe the show itself? Like, do you have a little one-liner, like elevator pitch to explain it to somebody?
Yeah, Abby, I know you're going to be like, you have to do
Hey, you work in sales. You do your thing.
Yeah, so I think basically Drinks After Work is a show that is for girls in their 20s who have, usually corporate jobs, working in corporate America, overworked, underappreciated, but hosted by two girls that are in that exact same scenario. I think Abby and I realized, through the pandemic, we listen to so many podcasts, we watch a lot of YouTube. Not that we have anything against this because we wish we could be these types of people, but we noticed that a lot of the girls that we follow on YouTube, a lot of the girls have podcasts that are really big. That's their full-time job. So when they're not podcasting or YouTubing, they can kind of go off on like a Monday afternoon and go shopping, get their nails done. And like their life is just a little different and almost a little unattainable. And we were like, how cool would it be to to kind of host a show and talk about life from the perspective of people that are actually, just living an ordinary life, living in the city, like trying to manage having a corporate job, going out for drinks with your friends, going out on the weekends, trying to stay professional, like still wanting to party like a college kid, but you're a little bit older now. And we kind of wanted to just put that all into one show. And then we also have a segment called Drunk Deets where Abby and I are not big into pop culture. So we literally were like, let's force ourselves to like get it into like understand pop culture and just give a few facts to people every week who also don't have time to like get into TikTok drama, celebrity drama.
Right. I love when you go over the Drunk Deets and Abby, like you give so many context clues, you give references, and Abby's still like nothing, like has no idea who these humans are.
I'm not even gonna pretend like I do. I don't have cable. The only time I'm looking into pop culture is when I'm looking for things to talk about on the show, because I just generally don't care.
But I think that's like a true testament to the concept of the show. And like, not only is that probably not your biggest interest, but even if it was, who has the time? Like, give me a roundup.
And that's like kind of the point. Like, we're not claiming to be pop culture experts. Like, I have friends who watch every single like type of show on Bravo, and they watch The Bachelor. They watch every single thing and they know every fact. And that's just not us. I think our vibe is more like there's other girls that are like us. Let's just give some random facts so people throughout the day throughout the week can be like, oh, like I kind of know what's going on in the world, and then just move on.
Yeah. And if they're in a bar getting drinks with friends, they can pretend like they also know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. It all comes back down to drinking in the end of the day.
Fake it till you make it, baby.
Yes.
And what specifically about podcasting versus maybe like a blog or vlogging like you were doing, like other forums, was appealing to you guys?
What do you think?
What was appealing about podcasting?
Yeah, as opposed to like a different way or a different channel.
So
I think a blog wouldn't have worked because you can't spell.
Yeah. I'm not, which is so weird because I'm not good. I'm not a good writer. I never have been. It's hard for me to gather my thoughts onto paper into sentences. So I feel like when Shannen and I, we sit down, we put our headphones on, the mic is on, we just talk, and that's what I'm good at, is just rambling, shooting the shit, just having girl time together. And we never want it to be scripted and like unoriginal. Like Shannen and I, we try to come up with authentic, relatable content that it's not just stuff you're hearing in the studio. Like Shannen and I will actually talk about this outside of the studio and like in our normal day-to-day life.
Yeah. And I think that too, so we love vlogging. Like, we think it's so much fun. We love to do it. I think the thing with vlogging is that, to be completely honest, most of the vlogs we put out, we edit ourselves, and we suck at video editing. Yeah. So it's definitely like it's a talent. And I really respect the girls who can put things like that on YouTube consistently. People don't realize how much time it takes. So there's just like the time that it takes to do it. But also additionally, we kind of realized over time that during the pandemic, everyone was at home, like watching YouTube, watching podcasts. I think that as people are starting to go back to the office a little bit more, people are starting to like listen to podcasts again on their way to work. Yeah. And since our whole like idea is Drinks After Work, I think we were like, it's great to like have a podcast that people can listen to, like while they drive into the office. That's like about people that kind of like live, work in the city, etc.
I completely agree. I used to have a blog back in the day, and that was sort of my first exposure to like social media. And
I never knew that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I started off with like a fashion blog that I did with a friend of mine, and it was really great. And like it was fun. You network, you meet influencers, like you're in little circles, events here in Boston. I really, really enjoyed it. But when I thought about it like this time around, I feel like podcasting, it has its benefits because it is like the little quirks and like the mess ups, or like just the I lost my train of thought, or like the little laughs. I feel like it adds so much character and personality, and people really get to know you in a different way or a different level. And I also think it's great because people can multitask. Like, to your point, like, you are not going to be able to read my blog while you're in the car.
Yes.
But you can listen while you're in the car. You can listen while you're in, you're working out. So people like on the go, people who are still busy, it still lends to that group of people, because I feel like the blogs just fall short if like you don't set aside the time for it.
That's so true. And I feel like you're putting like your best foot forward in your blog. Not that you're not doing that on your podcast, but I feel like people listen to like an hour of you talking, so they like really get to know you.
It's not always going to be perfect when you're just candid.
Exactly.
Wait, what was your blog called?
It was called Boston a la Mode.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. I love that. When's the last time you like posted on it?
I stopped it in probably like 2017 or so it's been a while.
I want to like find it.
I know.
I don't even think it exists anymore. I think GoDaddy got rid of my website.
Oh no.
I stopped paying for the website, but yeah, it was really fun. And then I ended up moving to California, and the girl that I was doing it with, she also moved to California. So we like rebranded, and then we did it again for another couple years, but it became like challenging being in different places. It was harder to like do things together. You have to like I had to like fly up to San Francisco to do a photo shoot with her, and I was like, this is just too much. It's too much. So and also it was very fashion focused, and I do love fashion, but that is not my passion. Like it was just fun at the time, but like I am a sweatpants, like yoga pants, sweatshirt type of girl at heart. So I'm like, it just didn't feel as authentic. I loved the writing aspects of it, because you could like add in more things about what I did this weekend, or why this is important to me, or what I'm getting dressed for, or whatever. And that stuff I enjoyed, but I'm like, I really don't care about this Zara blazer at all.
Right. Like it wasn't your passion.
No.
Well, people say that though, because who was it? Was it Maggie that said this to us? Someone was like, people always try to like make it or try to get into some form of media. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing something because you think it's what people will like, eventually it's not going to work, because people can tell like deep down when you're talking about something you're passionate about. And even if they can't, eventually like you can't, like I feel like you can't get up here every single week and talk about something if you're not actually passionate about what you're talking about. Eventually you're going to be like, this is exhausting.
People can see right through you.
Exactly.
100%. Speaking of all the different ways that people can see, hear, you can be in front of people. With the podcast itself, what do you hate more? Seeing yourself on YouTube or hearing yourself in the audio? Because we're all our own worst critics.
I'm sure you could guess mine.
Yours is actually, I don't know what yours is. It depends on like
the day.
It depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
Okay, well, you don't usually listen to our podcast, so I feel like you don't even like know what it
You don't listen to the episodes?
No.
Not
ever?
I have to. I'll send her like Spark Notes. I'll be like, hey, this week like we did a great job. Like a few quick notes.
We did great job.
I'm like, few quick notes. Like I feel like we shouldn't have said this. Like this was a little too like did you? She'll be like, great, thanks so much. Or like the criticism.
I'll be like, wait, who said that?
Like she's like, wait, who the fuck said that? I'm like, you did. She's like, oh shit.
I'm dying. You don't listen. I feel like to your point, I talk so fast that as soon as I walk out of the studio, I could not tell you anything I said. So I have to go back and rewatch it, because
I just
otherwise
go the outline. I don't rewatch or listen. I go like literally. What was it? Yesterday we were trying to figure out a title and description for our episode that dropped today, and I was like, shit, what did we talk about? And so I went to the outline and I sent Shannen like bullet points of what we talked about, and I was like, all right, let's build something off of this, and that's how I do it every week.
Wow. So yeah, so funny.
So to answer the question.
But to answer her question, what would you say yours is?
I hate looking at myself.
Looking.
I like to believe the camera adds 10 pounds. If it doesn't, lie to me.
If anyone asks, it 100% does.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, I think it depends on the week. Like if I'm PMSing and I'm like, 5 pounds heavier, then like usually I don't like to look at myself. But if I'm like having a good hair day, I don't know. It depends. Like usually I feel like looking at yourself, for most girls, I would think is hard, because also you're like podcasting, so it's not like when we used to post YouTube videos, we'd be like,
we had to look perfect.
We'd have Abby's we used her, well, we had a ring light, but we also used your camera. Remember when we used your iPhone camera? Yeah. And so we'd like put the front camera on so we could see ourselves the whole time. So you can make little adjustments, make sure you look good and pretty or whatever, how we wanted to look. But like when we're in the studio, we don't see ourselves. Yeah. So I could be like letting my like fat hang out. Like, yes. I could have like half of like a boob out. Like I don't know what's going on. So then I watch it later and I'm like, oh my God, is that what I look like when I talk? Like how does no one correct me?
Yeah, it's like for everyone at home. Like when you get dressed to go out for the night and you look in the mirror and you're like, I look bomb. I'm so excited. I'm so cute. And then you see yourself in a photo and you're like, what the fuck?
Or in the mirror in the bathroom.
It's that times 10. Yes. Or like that times 10.
Yes. Or even worse, because I feel like I do this when I get dressed to go out. I'm like looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like sucking in, like holding my hips in, and I'm like oh shit. Am I ever gonna walk like that? But then when if someone were to take a video of me without me knowing at a bar sitting there, I'm probably like frumpily sitting. My like stomach's probably like hanging out. Like it's probably like not a good look. And I like think in my head that I look hot because I only saw myself in the mirror, but I do not look like that.
I also didn't know that I hated my side profile until we podcasted.
I didn't know what my side profile looked like.
Me neither.
It's like a different person.
I don't recognize her.
And now I get self-conscious when I'm driving with my boyfriend in the car. I'm like, don't look at me.
Abby's like driving into traffic because she's like, hey, how's it going? Like only facing him.
I wish I were lying.
He's definitely, he thinks she's like mad at her. Yeah. I mean, mad at him. He's like, why aren't you looking at me? Like, why? What's going on?
Don't worry about it.
That is literally classic.
So to answer your question, the looking at myself.
Yeah, definitely looking. I would agree. But I like that you're like, I don't know, it depends on my mood.
Depends on the day. Sometimes I hear myself and I'm more annoying than usual. And I'm like, all right.
So you touched on it a little bit with the elevator pitch, but I love that you guys are like these CEO corporate bosses during the day and then like life of the party at night. Where did the actual like inspiration or concept for the show itself come from? Is it because you wanted to create a more relatable space for those girls in this like age group? Where did you feel like there was like a hole in this type of space? Like what inspired you the most to come up with it?
So I grew up acting and dancing since I was age 4, and I knew I always wanted to be in the entertainment industry. Yeah. But I just didn't have the balls to do it. And I grew up watching YouTube. I wasn't ever really big on like watching TV. Like I'm not up on the latest TV shows or movies. But during the pandemic, that's all I had to do. And it just occurred to me that like, we're in this pandemic. I'm not getting any younger. I don't know.
Tell me about it.
I don't know if we'll ever get out of this pandemic. And if we do, like, we only have one life to live, and I want to try at least doing this, whatever this is that I decided to do. And so when the whole Call Her Daddy drama was happening during the pandemic, or then when they were breaking up, Barstool was looking for new talent.
Forever ago. Right? Doesn't it feel like forever ago at this point?
Yes. Doesn't it? They were looking for new talent, and Shannen and I, we were friends. We were in the same friend group. We were always hanging out together on the weekends. We worked together, and I reached out to her and I was like, hey, listen, like, I think, cause like, I mean, Shannen, that she has like this bubbly personality. Yes. Like, she's perfect for the job that she does in the studio. And I saw that in her and I reached out to her. I didn't think anything of it. Like, I didn't think it would lead anywhere. And I was like, hey, I think we should like submit something to Barstool and like try to do the damn thing. And she was like, dude, yes, I'm so down. But like,
you were probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I was like, oh wow. But she was like, screw Barstool. Like, we don't need them. Like, let's just do it ourselves.
Yeah. I was like, screw Barstool. We don't need them.
Imagine the ego. So who needs Barstool anyway?
Little did we know, doing it on your own is very hard.
Yeah.
But we decided to buy the what was it from Best Buy? The starter pack.
The influencer
It literally
starter
was called
pack?
the influencer starter pack from Best Buy for $150. It came with like a ring light attached with a tripod for your phone, and that's what we would record the videos on. But the name, how long did it come? I feel like we started recording before.
Yeah, we didn't know what the name was. Michael came up with the name.
That was the last thing that came, was the name.
Yeah, it was weird. It took forever. But you know what's, like, to answer your question about like the gap in the space, because I think like Abby and I became so close. We literally met at work. So like the show is literally like about our journey, because we met through like our corporate jobs. We didn't know each other from a hole in the wall. And then we kind of just started gradually becoming like work friends. And then we started grabbing drinks after work, you know, talking about whatever. And then we just became like so close because of it. And I think we realized like, she said we listened to Call Her Daddy and like we love that and stuff, but I think what we would often do is we'd find ourselves like fast forwarding through the sex stuff and like the tips and this and that, because I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm 26, like it is what it is at this point. But like what we realized was like we liked the, you know, the friendship aspect, and I was like, I kind of want a space where it can just be me and my best friend just like talking about, you know, our lives and stuff. And I feel like the gap that we found that existed was people, you know, are coming home from like a long day and they're, you know, driving home, they're exhausted, and we wanted to like share our like, okay, this is authentically what we do. We literally, like, I just drove here after work. We show up at the studio. We haven't talked to each other all day, and we're literally just catching up on our lives, and we want other people to like kind of join in on that with us.
Do you guys feel like during the day you have to be like, stop texting me, save it for the podcast?
Yeah, like sometimes we won't say.
Shannon doesn't answer me.
Oh, okay.
I don't text at work.
No, Shannon's a very busy woman. Damn, Shannen, this is why she does the sale pitches, because she's
I know, she's great. So good at it. She's so good.
But we also realized when we were getting drinks after work that we would talk about work, because we work together. So, you know, we'd catch up on like the work drama and like what's going on at work. And we realized like, okay, like we're getting drinks after work. That doesn't mean we have to talk about work. So, you know, in our little sales pitch and our intro, it's like where we talk about everything and anything under the sun except for work, because you know, you spend the majority of your life working. You're with your coworkers more than your real friends. It's most scary. Of the time. It is scary, and you should be able to have a drink after work and just not think about work.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And so that's kind of where the podcast idea came about, where it's like, all right, like let's not talk about work. Let's talk literally about anything but. And so that's our goal.
Sorry.
No, go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
I was going to be like off topic, so I figured if you wanted to say something first.
No, I was going to move on to the next topic, so it's perfect. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, I was going to ask you, what is like your, obviously like with you doing this on your own right now, I think it's so badass. First of all, I was like, good for her. And I could totally see you doing it, because I was like, she can just completely fill a room by herself. Like she can do this by herself.
I paid her to say that.
What do you, I know I was literally a paid sponsor. But what is like your journey with it right now?
Yeah. So I think that the concept of 30 Flirty Surviving, like, I want that to stay and ring true. Like, yes, I think that it's so important to normalize the fact that being a certain age does not mean you have to have X, Y, and Z accomplished or under your belt. And I think that so many people are in that same space of still feeling like a little lost, or still feeling like they're unsure, or have more to do when they hit that number of 30. And so I still want to be able to talk about, you know, all those topics like dating and work and our, you know, fun times and self-esteem and body image and all those things. But I also really want to sort of put a twist on it. Obviously, it's not so much fun like sitting in a room and talking just to yourself, especially because Hurley doesn't like to talk back to me. So I want to be able to have like guests still, and not just doing it by myself. And so the sort of plan is to have more interviews with women and men, but mostly women, who have, you know, maybe they've taken that leap of faith and like started their own business, or they've, you know, gone after that passion project that they've always wanted to, and talking about sort of like the process to get there and what that was like. And same thing for you guys, like how the show concept came about, things like that, because I want it to empower people at home that maybe still feel like a little stuck or a little unsure, and showing them that like if you believe in yourself you can do it, and where there's a will there's a way. And some of these people didn't start until they were at their end of their 30s, you know. So like I think it's that like encouragement and that push to have people just like believe themselves a little bit more and do a little bit of that.
I love that you said that, because I don't know if you've seen this, but Mark Cuban, I don't know.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The tweet. So he tweeted like, I don't remember when it was. Maybe it was like a few years ago now, but he was like, it was, the tweet said, it was this day, you know, roughly like however many years ago when I was 31 years old that I went to an ATM and was looking at a negative balance.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I remember just like seeing that and it just got goosebumps because I was like, Mark Cuban, like we look at him as the successful businessman and all the stuff that he's accomplished, but people don't realize like he didn't really find that success till he was like well into his 30s.
Exactly.
He's not someone like we're always like, well, you know, like Zuckerberg, like he was like 19 and like blah, 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 like made Facebook. But I'm like, no, like that's great. But there's so many people that didn't find tremendous success. They're in their like 30s or even 40s. You know what I mean? And
we don't even like know ourselves all that well in our 20s. Like we're still learning a lot about who we are. And I feel like your 30s is that area of your life to start truly finding yourself and then like acting on it and embracing it full on. And so how can you have all of your shit together before you even know who you are? I mean, it's just like impossible. So I think that I want people to like stop beating themselves up and feel that like that empowerment to go ahead and just like go for it and do it. So
100%.
That's sort of the game plan. That reminds me, I remember like watching like a video a while back of like Jim Carrey. He was like, I was broke as shit and I wrote myself an $100,000 check and I didn't cash it, but I was just like, one day I'm going to be able to do that. One day I'm going to be able to do that. And I think he was in his like early 30s or like late 20s at the time. And then he said like 2 months later, he signed the deal for the mask and his like whole life took off. God. So I'm like a big power in like manifesting too. And so I think just like talking about things, putting it out in the universe and just like having open conversations and like bringing down like the wall of like, oh, that's so cool what she does, but I could never do that. Like actually showing maybe what the steps are to take and giving people that confidence is so important. But yeah, that's what the plan is, ladies and gents. But you were talking about, you know, obviously getting drinks after work, which comes to mind is like drinks after work tends to be a common date. A lot of people go on dates with drinks after work. You have been in a long-term relationship for a while. You're still fairly new, but like I feel like you guys under a year, but still like what?
We started dating.
How many months?
October of last year.
Oh, okay. So it is a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like our first date was in October of last year.
Okay. So you guys are not on the look for a significant other. But I was curious about while you were in a relationship and while you were single, do you feel like the relationship status of your bestie impacts your friendship whatsoever? Do you feel like you notice a difference when like you guys are both in a relationship or when you're both single or one's in one place and one's in the other? And it doesn't have to necessarily be like you two specifically. It could be like in general or like another time in your life. But
I think with Shannen and I don't see a difference. I've only known Shannen to be in a relationship. But there were times when I was friends with Shannen and I was single. And to me, there's no difference. But I think with some of my other friends, I do absolutely notice one. Like one of my best friends since middle school is recently single. And, you know, we've never been single at the same time.
Yeah.
So, which is so weird to think because we've been best friends since middle school. And, you know, she wants to go out and she wants to do all these things. And I'm like, oh, I don't really care. like I'm not just like down to like, you know, party like I used to when I was single. Not that I don't like to have a good time and go to the Grand and let loose, but it's just my weekends look a little bit different. Like this past weekend, I was with my boyfriend's family the entire weekend. And, you know, we had date night on Friday night, but I'm lucky with Shannen that our boyfriends are best friends. They've been best friends since diapers.
Birth.
Literally.
Oh my God.
I know. So, you know, it's actually...
So it's that's like a bonus. You guys probably get more time together than even before.
I think like with Abby, when we first became friends, I was still, because I was with Michael then, right? Yeah, I was fully with Michael. Okay, so yeah, when we became friends at first, I was in a relationship. She was single or like single-ish. And I think the only difference was like you would always like come over, hang out with Michael and I almost feel like you were like the third like wheel in the relationship. Like she was like the second, you know, girlfriend.
Yeah.
And Michael,
I love that for you.
Well, it was kind of true that like Michael would take me out to dinner and like Abby would come, or like we'd be having like a movie night and Abby would be there. Like like so many, like Abby would sleep on or no, you wouldn't sleep on the couch. That's where you do the
high maintenance.
But like Abby would stay over till like 3 a.m. and then she'd drive home, like whatever. But like we were just always, it was like the three of us were always doing things, and it felt like Abby was like part of the relationship. And I think when she started dating her boyfriend, I think if it wasn't Michael's best friend, it might have been different. But I think because it is like, it's Michael and his best friend like are attached to the hip. So it's just now just the four of us always on like a double date all the time.
That's so fun. Yeah. Well, I asked that because I think that I do think also like it's with maturity too. Like I think, you know, when you have that friend that has like a boyfriend when you guys are like 16, even when you're 21, it's like, oh my God, gag me. They're obsessed with each other. Like your friend changes because she wants to be perfect for him. But I think as we get older, it's not really like that. But I do feel like one of the things I've talked about before on the show is it's an interesting point in my life, like season. I have had a group of like 9 girlfriends since we were in 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
And I am the only single one. And like, that's fine. Like, it's not like poor me. Like, I enjoy being single, but I do feel like it's just that weird space where it's like, oh, we're just grabbing dinner. Or like, oh, we're doing this. And I'm like, what am I doing this weekend? What am I doing?
Oh,
you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, like I just like noticed like their life, like it just seems like a little bit more settled. And so one of the things that I really appreciate about you guys is the fact that Drinks After Work, you guys have focus so much on like creating a community. I feel like your listeners are not just listeners, like you want them to meet up and become friends and engage with each other, socialize with each other. And so you've created that Facebook page and you guys have done so many different things in Boston. And, you know, it's great. I feel like there's been stories on there of like, I just moved to Boston, I don't have any friends. Does anyone want to get a drink on Friday night? And girls meet up, and now you're forming friendships and you're bringing people together, which is so great. Where did that original idea come from? Like, did you guys ever come from a point where you're like, oh, I don't really like have a lot of friends, or did you feel like girls were mean to you, or is it just important for you that like the girls that follow and listen to you like connect with each other?
I think it was like such a lonely time for so many people during the pandemic, and I feel like Abby and I were literally sitting there one day and like just kind of hanging out with each other. And to be honest, like I think we are blessed. Like I think we have a great group of friends, and it's like funny you mentioned like friends getting into relationships, because I think that even though we both are, our whole group of friends is like pretty single, like a bunch of single people like bopping around. And I think that's why like for people that are in relationships, we do a lot of like single things, if that makes sense. Like we do a lot of like, you know, trips with our friends. Like we would do like a big like weekend like getaway and like stuff like that with like 25 people, and like because all of our friends are single and they want to do those things. So I feel like we kind of have those like we get relatively
the best of both worlds.
Yeah, we live like relatively single lives. And I think like Abby and I are very keen on like, even though we're in a relationship, it's like her and I still will have a night where we're like, let's bounce around the city, let's go to the Grand, let's do this, let's go to this bar, like let's have fun with our lives. Because just because you get in a relationship doesn't mean like all of a sudden it's like, you know, lights off. And I think some girls, and I don't want to say make the mistake, because you can do whatever you want with your life, but I think sometimes people are in such a rush to settle down. And I have friends who did when they were like 23, and now they're coming up to me and they're like, I wish like I wasn't in such a rush. Like I wish I could have just enjoyed. It's like you go to high school and college and you work your ass off to like, you know, start making an income and being in your 20s, and then people rush to just settle down, and it's like, well, why not just enjoy it, you know? So I think like regardless of your relationship status, I don't think it's like, oh, single can be fun, relationship isn't. I think you can make your relationship whatever you want. I think that's one thing we do. But in regards to like the community, I think that we were just talking about how we felt like super blessed to have this group of friends, but how we've encountered so many girls throughout the pandemic that are like, I moved to Boston during the pandemic and people are mean as shit here, and the bars are closed. Starbucks is closed. I'm literally losing my mind. Like I'm depressed. And we were like, we have to do something. And I think that's when we put the TikTok out that just like gained a decent amount of traction. And we were like, hey, if you're a girl in the Boston area and you want friends, like comment your favorite place you grab a drink, like let's link people up. And
I love that.
We got so many overwhelming responses of girls who were like, oh my God, I'm desperate. I just moved here. Like I need to make friends. Or like, hey, I moved in with my boyfriend and I don't have any no girlfriends here. And Abby actually had the idea. She was like, let's create a Facebook group for these girls. So it's like literally her baby, and she's done an amazing job just like spearheading it. But that's kind of how it started.
I love that. So what is the name of the Facebook page?
So it's called Drinks After Work Boston Baddies. That's what we call our listeners, and the girls in the group are Boston Baddies. Perfect. It's for girls only, unfortunately, and it is a private Facebook group because we wanted to, create a safe space for girls to, have a community where they can ask questions like that they don't want to ask in front of guys. Like, where do I get my hair, nails, makeup, Botox? I need a dermatologist. I need a gynecologist. Like, I just moved to Boston. I don't have all these things. Or, I see sometimes girls are like, I just got out of a breakup. Like, I need to get a drink after work. Like, let's link up. But there's 3 membership questions, and I'm very, very strict about it because I write in the first question, if you do not answer these questions, I will not accept you, because I'm weeding out guys, I'm weeding out bots, I'm weeding out people that don't have good intentions.
What are the membership questions?
It's just
they're simple
and there's no reason not to answer them. It's what is your favorite place in the Boston area to get a drink after work? What is your favorite, or what is your go-to drink order? And then why do you want to join this group?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have over 1,000 membership requests just right now that, are people that either they're guys or they don't have a profile picture and they didn't fill out the membership questions. And I've had girls with no Facebook profile, like picture, but in their questions they'll write, I know my profile looks suspect, here's my Instagram handle, and I'll fact check them, and I'm like, okay, this is a real human.
Yeah,
you're in.
You're right, because we do, like, the biggest thing is it being safe. Like, obviously, like, I guess someone could make a fake profile, but like, we want to just screen for, or I guess Abby, like, she's the one that really does all this, but wants to make sure that it's not a random person that could come into a group of girls who are being vulnerable with each other, or like talking about personal things, or like, hey, like anyone like looking for a roommate, even extending that far, you want to make sure it's like a safe community.
And they literally make plans to meet up. So like, God forbid there's a guy in there that knows like a group of 10 girls are going to this bar at this time on this night. Like, we don't want people lurking. I don't know.
Lurkers.
Yes.
We've had friends, like one of our guy friends one time, like he put on like a wig and like sunglasses and like took a picture and like tried to get in.
That is
so
hilarious.
Sorry.
Well, I think it's a really cool thing that you guys are doing. I think it's really important. And I think that it makes total sense that it sort of maybe sparked from the pandemic, but it's like necessary then and now, and it's still like a great thing for people that, are just looking for something to do, make a friend, need like someone to just listen to them, to vent or whatever,
it's
ask
so
questions.
Important.
Yeah, totally. I love it. I would like to play a little game with you girls, if you don't mind.
Ooh, I love games.
My favorite game in the entire world is Red Flag or Deal Breaker. Ooh. And I have some questions for you girls. Red Flag or Deal Breaker. So if you haven't played before, the basis is red flag is like a little sus, but like I think I could like deal with it, and deal breaker is like you would have nothing to do with that person immediately.
Okay.
But these aren't necessarily all dating questions. The first one is, he suggests going to his place for the first date. Red flag or deal breaker?
Deal breaker.
Wow.
100%. I
feel like that's actually perfect after you're saying like creating a safe space, and like you can't go to the dude's house on the first night.
No, actually though, for the girls listening to this, like on a very real note, one of my friends, obviously I'm not going to say her name, but was just in a situation where a guy invited her over instead of going out for drinks, and he actually was like very pressuring. And it was a very bad situation that she like ended up having to leave and like was very upset. Every single girl I know that I'm friends with who has gone to a guy's house who's invited, been like, oh, like, no, let's just have a chill night and watch Netflix, like instead of going out or something. Well, A, he doesn't want to buy you a drink or food, which is lazy. And B, it's like he's literally trying to get you in a situation where you're already at his apartment.
Yeah, I feel like it puts you in a very vulnerable position.
Yes, and every girl I know that's gone to that position has been like, he tried to sleep with me and it was very uncomfortable and I didn't like it. So that's like the one thing I'm very firm on.
I love that. I can tell how serious you are about it. Yeah, I feel like the only like maybe exception, like if you already like know them, like so you've been friends for a while, whatever, but like stranger danger, absolutely would never do that.
Like dating app, like do not go to his house.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. Okay. He wants to bring his mom on your weekend getaway trip.
Deal breaker. No mama's boys.
I'm just like picturing Sex in the City when Charlotte marries that guy and like his mom's like super like creepy. I guess it would depend on like how long I've been with him. Like if it's like a 3-year-long relationship and there's like a particular reason. If it's like one of our first trips together, that's probably a deal breaker. But if there's maybe a reason, I'd just say red flag. Like, I don't know. What about you?
I feel like I would be like, can we do something really fun next weekend with your mom at home? And you and me go away. Like, well, why?
Also, just like the three of us is weird. That's like, weird. Why us?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, if he doesn't have social media.
That's hot.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
So we love it. It's neither a red flag or a deal breaker.
There's like something about like the mystery of a man who doesn't need to feel validated through social media. Yeah. Like he doesn't even need it. Like, that's kind of hot. Like I feel like the opposite is the guy who overuses social media, and I instantly am not really about that.
Okay. I respect that. He quote unquote forgets his wallet at dinner.
Oh, you won't get a second date.
No.
Not even if you Venmo me. No, I am judging literally where you choose to take me. I'm judging by what you order. If you order an appetizer, what kind of drink you're ordering. Like, no.
Wait, can you tell me about the appetizer?
Like what would be weird to get?
No, like if you don't order an appetizer or if you don't eat the bread. Like if you're not ordering an appetizer or eating a basket of bread, like I don't want to date you because you're no fun.
There was actually
because you're no fun.
You're no fun.
One of my coworkers went on a date with a guy who like took her to a sushi place but got like the mac and cheese with like some sort of weird like fish on top of it. And she like, even though the date was good, she was like, I would never go out with him again because the order was so fucking weird.
That's hard.
Did he get edamame for an appetizer? Because appetizers are important.
That's true. I don't know. I didn't ask second level questions. Forgot wallet. So I think it's like, I know it sounds a bitchy for us to be like, it's a deal breaker, but in the end of the day, as a girl, you have so much shit to remember on a date. You have to do your hair, your hair, your makeup. You want to look good. Yeah. Pick out the perfect outfit. Make sure that your heels match your purse. As a guy, all you have to fucking remember is your wallet.
Truly.
That's the only thing.
Truly.
So if you can't even get that right, then I have no words for you.
I know. I actually went on a date and this happened, and I like truly could sincerely see he was like so upset and so embarrassed, and I felt badly for him.
Do they take Apple
But
Pay?
I did.
Like, what? What's the hold up? I don't get it.
But I truly was like, at the same exact thought. I was like, you had one job. You had one job. And like, even like I was going to like offer, you got to offer, you got to give the gesture. Like I don't have a problem actually paying for it, but I'm like, you really just didn't bring it. You really just didn't. I couldn't.
There's also the whole like mental thing of like, oh, like if I end up dating this guy, there's every girl kind of wants a guy that's gonna kind of take care of her. And it's like, oh, he can't even remember his wallet. Like,
yeah,
I don't like
this is a glimpse.
A glimpse into our relationship. Yeah, no, thank you.
Into the future, I'm all set.
Yeah,
it's so true. Okay. Your best friend is friends with someone who you don't get along with.
Ooh,
red flag.
Yeah, I think it's a red flag. I think it depends on like why, obviously. Like if there was a girl that was genuinely like,
why you don't get along with that person?
Yeah. Like if there was a girl that genuinely was like a bitch, and we always say this, like mean to you, and like I wouldn't be friends with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, and then last but not least, we're gonna do Dear TFS. So if you guys haven't listened to the show before, we usually close with Dear TFS, which is basically like a Dear Abby, where girls, like, or listeners, some guys have written in before too, ask questions and they want like a third party opinion, so we answer it for them and give our advice. So I want you guys to be the ones to give your input this week. The question is, Dear TFS, lately I have been feeling like I'm getting pulled in a million different directions. Think hamster wheel. I'm constantly going, and while I enjoy having a busy schedule, I need to start prioritizing myself a little bit more. How would you recommend that I politely start saying no to things so that I don't bite off more than I can chew?
Ooh, I think this is literally me. Holy shit.
Shannon's like, I cannot help you
amazing.
With this.
Take your own advice. Oh, that's a loaded question, because it sounds like she's already taken on more than she can to.
Yeah.
And if she's anything like myself, if I start something, I need to finish it and I need to give 100% because if my name is on it, I want to make sure I'm proud of it. See, I'm not really good at being polite.
Well, okay,
I would just say
so
no.
Just be like, no, as much as I would love to help right now, I'm not in the, space capacity. I'm not in a place to give 100% and I want to. So, can we circle back maybe later?
Can we table this
Beautiful.
for now? Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm not good at thinking on the spot, but I think I would just say like, I'm not in a place right now to complete
I really
this,
like that.
I
really like that.
Yeah, I think that's good. And it's also honest. I myself struggle with this, and it's so funny you just read that because I was literally talking to my boyfriend and my family earlier, and I was like, my New Year's resolution is to slow down.
Oh my God.
I've been doing so much, and I feel like,
am I in your head?
No, just genuine, like with life. Like I feel like it's like flying here, going here, doing this, doing that, like going to all these crazy places, like literally back to back to back. And I almost feel like doing so many fun things, which is great, but it almost like dilutes each thing because you're constantly running to the next thing and you don't even get to process it
and like enjoy it.
Yeah, you don't even get to really enjoy the life that like you're getting to do all these fun things, but you're not actually enjoying it because you're just running rampant all the time. It sounds like this girl struggles with saying no. I struggle with that too. The best advice I have is that, so if you feel that your life is too fast, instead of being like, okay, I'm overwhelmed in the moment, like don't cancel things you've already committed to.
Yeah.
Keep your commitments, but make it a goal to be like, after these round of commitments is over, I'm going to make some changes. And the way that you make those changes is by saying no to people when they first ask you.
Yeah.
I often will like lead something along and I'll be like, oh yeah, that sounds like a really good time. Like I definitely would be interested in that. And then, the weeks go by and then all of a sudden the commitment's right around the corner. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, that's the same weekend that I have 6 other things. I'm gonna be so stressed. But at that point, I feel bad like canceling on the person. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just try to make it work.
This is literally Shannen.
And that's exactly
and then
what
it's
I
like,
do.
and then I don't realize it because I suck at planning. And I'm like, I have 15 things to do this weekend. And then I end up just like trying to give everyone a fraction of my time instead of being fully like present where I am. So the advice I have, like, first off, become like really good at using your calendar. Like that's something I'm trying to work on. Is like, okay, I can't have 4 commitments on the same day because I always forget. But then also saying no to people like right off the bat and being honest. Like I literally told someone for the first time today, they asked me to do plans beginning of January to go to this club. And it was so hard for me, but I literally was like, you know what? I've not been prioritizing my mental health or like anything about like myself for literally 6 months, and I'm so drained, and I'm so sorry to have to do this. Like I want to see you, but I want to, like Abby just said, I want to give you my best. Like I just don't, I'm like trying to make it a goal to myself personally to not do things like this for a little while, like until I can like recharge. And they were like, oh my God, of course, like love you so much, hope that everything works out. And they were so nice about it. But if I had led them along and been like, oh my God, yeah, that sounds so fun, like I'd probably be so down. And then I waited till like the week before and then was like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, I can't go.
They'd probably be pissed.
They'd be like, okay, well, you couldn't like schedule yourself better. And that's the thing, like I have no one to blame but myself.
Yeah.
So like just like make it a goal for like the new year, like deal with the commitments you have. And also like if someone is like the other side to that, with saying no to people, like if I said no to doing something with Abby, she's a true friend, she would never get mad at me.
Right.
So if the people in your lives, if the people in your life are getting pissed at you and you feel scared to say no to them, then like maybe that's not someone that's a good friend.
I know, that's what I was wondering, but I feel like it's more of like she's just scared to actually say it. Hopefully she's not scared of like their reactions. I feel like it's like working up the courage to say it. But I think that is a really good point. But I also think that like you don't have to apologize either. Like I don't think you have to be like, I'm so sorry. Like you're like, what are you sorry for? Like
so
you're
true.
for being honest. Like,
yeah.
And I think people just respect the fact that you're like transparent and honest. And I think it will go a long way. And I think that once you like start the first one, like now you're going to have so much better success at saying no to things because you've like gotten over that initial hump. Like, you know what I mean? Like now that you've said no to that club, like next time you can say no again. And then the next time. And like, it'll just get easier and easier.
That's so true. Good point.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. It was so fun to have you here. Yeah. I love that you guys are both, if you guys weren't watching, they both have like their little black.
Yeah. Why do we match?
They're completely matching. They look like our little twinsies.
I know.
Okay. So, If you guys are following them on social media, it's at drinksafterwork_. If you're following me on social media, it's 30 Flirty Surviving. Please write in more Dear to Fast questions and let us know what you want to answer. We have more guests coming up. Obviously, we started talking about that a little bit. So we'll have a lot of different people's perspectives and opinions on things. So definitely down to answer whatever questions it is you guys have. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye.